improved your quality of life so much, you wish you did it sooner. Story 1: Job company change. Companies aren't out for your best interests, even if you have a genuinely great boss manager. I stayed in my first post-college job for far too long and massively stunted my savings potential. Story 2: Sobriety. I went from severe depression and constant panic attacks to positive, comfortable, and confident within a month of quitting booze. Granted, I was a severe alcoholic dying from cirrhosis, but I'm almost 4 years sober now, and my entire life is so much better than it used to be. 5 years ago, I was being hauled away by the cops and forced into a mental facility, and now I'm married to an incredible man who I never would have met if I was still drinking and trying to have a baby. It's amazing what a few years of not poisoning your body will do. Story 3: Running. I hated it for months. I was doing it because I wanted to pick up a hobby, but I have a bit of an addiction to things that give off adrenaline. I love the feeling of finishing a few miles of a run and coming home, showering, and that sit down right after. The mind clarity during and after is a game changer. Story 4: Becoming a birder. Physically, I get outside and walk more. Emotionally, I feel connected with nature, and it lifts my spirits instantly, no matter how blue I'm feeling. And mentally, it helps to keep me sharp, identifying birds by sight and sound, researching species, learning and discovering their behaviors. Plus, I'm more aware of the need for conservation. And as a bonus, I connect with other lovers here on Reddit and through a membership to the POCAT, The Science of Birds, which has brought me hours of enjoyment and education. The hobby doesn't cost much at all, depending on how involved I choose to be. It's literally given me something to look forward to and focus on during some of the roughest days I've faced. Story 5: Stopped eating sugary things and drinking a lot more water. No more aching knee, I'm old LOL, and no more acid reflux. Also haven't had a cavity in 8 years and don't get that weird furry teeth feeling after food. Story 6: A few basics. Save more money, exercise more, consume less sugar, and just generally invest more time and effort into yourself. Normal baseline mood has increased noticeably from what it used to be. Story 7: I stopped wearing synthetic fabrics. For one, didn't matter what season it was, I was always uncomfortable, getting rashes, overheating, traded out every piece I owned for wool, linen, and silk, and have been comfortable ever since. Story 8: Solo trips. To the beach, to the flea market, literally wherever. Solo trips are just so freeing. Just grab a coffee, play your favorite songs at full volume in the car, and go wherever you want for however long you want. And it's just so peaceful. Story 9: Drinking 2L water day. Prioritizing quality sleep, 8 hours for me. Eating mostly whole foods, and strength training 3-4 week. I had so many health issues, 6 months of doing this consistently, and 99 are gone. Story 10: Quitting a toxic job. I never knew just how much it could affect your mental health until I got a better job. I put up with so much for years because I thought that was how it was at all jobs. Now I'm so much happier. I don't burst into tears before my shift. I don't have daily panic attacks because I'm worried about my boss screaming at me in front of other people. It was so liberating to be rid of my old job. Story 11: Getting a cat. Now, I didn't dislike cats. I just didn't really want one then. I kid you not. A kitten literally showed up on our front porch. I'm a total cat guy now. Story 12: Quitting my job that was 40 miles away and had a supervisor. Now I make less, but my supervisor is completely hands-off. I speak to them maybe once a month, and it's only 5 miles from home. Story 13: I might get flamed for this, but tripping on shrooms really put my priorities in order. I've only done it once, but that night I decided what was really important and what I wanted to focus on. Story 14: Getting a CS degree and escaping retail has granted me the financial security I could have had long ago. I know it's not an appropriate path for everyone, but in my experience, simply getting a job and working hard is a lie rich people tell to poor people. Story 15: Running consistently. I enjoy it, and it also encourages so many healthy secondhand habits. I feel better physically, better mentally, eating well, and drinking less. You won't get fast food for lunch if you know you're running that afternoon. Being outside, I can celebrate the small wins, getting good sleep, etc. That one thing has the largest impact. Story 16: Learning to slow down. I stumbled across the Slow Living podcast, and the host said something along the lines of, if you don't slow down on purpose, your body will do it for you. I was in the middle of trying to do so many things at once, get a house, get married, start a business, and all of a sudden they told me that I needed knee surgery. I was able to take some time during my recovery to reprioritize and let go of some friends who weren't really friends, but probably just drinking buddies, and decided that I should do the business on the side and keep my day job in this economy. And instead of a huge wedding, we're going to be simple on the beach this summer. It sounds so stupid, but I'm thankful for my 6-week knee recovery and the job. I had just waited for me to come back and kept paying me. I thought it wasn't good enough, but you know what? It is. Story 17 Merino Wool Socks. They provide great cushioning, both underfoot and across the top of the foot. It's especially good over the toes when using steel toe boots. They keep your feet dry throughout the workday. There's been days where I take off my work boots after a 14-hour shift, and the socks are just damp, but my feet were dry. And despite them getting soaked with sweat, they never developed a smell. And yes, they're pricey than regular socks, but you buy quality, you don't put them as often. Story 18, using a white noise machine when go to bed. My quality of sleep improved so much, and I feel more energetic. I fall asleep faster and actually stay asleep, even if the cats are having their Zoom eyes in the living room at 4 a.m. Story 19, moving out. I've done it once, but had to move back with my parents due to financial reasons, but being away from my narcissistic, selfish mother has been one of the healthiest, most beautiful things that I've experienced. It's like life gained 50 more contrast and color at the same time. Can't wait to do it again. Soon, hopefully. Story 20, buying time. My first real understanding of this was when I outsourced lawn care. Suddenly 14 of my weekend was freed up for me. Not only that, but I got garage space back. No more lawn care equipment to store or maintain. I could do fish, off-roading, whatever. I got my weekend back because if it rained, I not only lost my summer free time, but still had to take care of the lawn. Some people may enjoy doing that. My specific example isn't the point. The point was I bought time. I used to exchange an activity I didn't enjoy for others I do. Find your happiness. Story 21, Warhammer. I'm financially worse off, but I have met some lifelong friends and a thriving community of like-minded individuals. Loads of reading, lots of banter, discussion, and the painting keeps my head in check. Admittedly, I could only pick it up properly when I got more cash, etc., so maybe not as accessible as go outdoors. Do that too, though. Story 22, advocated for my health. Told my family to off and not to reach out to me ever again. Left the healthcare industry, delete all social media. Yes, I play on Reddit, but these people don't know me. I'm only accessible to those I want to hear from. Story 23, buying shoes that fit and keep my feet warm and dry. I used to buy the cheapest shoes out of necessity, being poor. When I found out there are winter boots that are actually waterproof, I started paying more than I thought I could afford. Footwear was the one thing I paid full price for. I am the living embodiment of the VIMS principle. Story 24, I started taking vitamin D in the morning 3 weeks ago. My mood, energy, and skin immediately improved. Also, it miraculously made me no longer a stuffy allergy monster after I drink a beer. No idea how these things are connected, but thankful I can enjoy the occasional brew. Story 25, medically transitioning. I'm still very early in my journey, but God, my dysphoria has already gone down quite a bit. I'm currently on testosterone injections and plan on getting top surgery soon. Plus, I'm in the process of legally changing my name and gender marker. However, I couldn't start sooner. I had to wait until I moved into my own place because my dad hates that I'm trans, and he especially hates that I'm on HRT. So I wish I could have started sooner, but I also didn't have much of a choice, but better late than never. I'm much happier now than I was before. Story 26, a lot of people saying giving up alcohol, but I would argue simply giving up alcohol isn't the recipe for improved quality of life for a lot of folks. It's doing that and getting the support you need to deal with the things you are using alcohol to cope with. Story 27, getting a sleep study done. I've had an irregular sleep cycle my whole life, mostly not getting enough sleep, being tired all the time, trouble waking up, and having any consistent schedule with it. Anyway, I thought that was normal. I assumed everyone else felt similar, and they were just pushing through it better than I was. Then, my behaviors while asleep got increasingly weird. I've always talked a bit in my sleep, but it got a lot more frequent and louder and more disturbing too. I've experienced and was presently going through some traumatic stuff, and I'd be acting out my responses to it in my dreams, like yelling and cursing and eventually kicking and flailing around. My partner was disturbed by it, both their own quality of sleep and also emotionally wondering WTF demon was possessing me. I'd be worried about it happening if I traveled anywhere. I've always been proactive about my mental health, but this was getting really disruptive and to more than just me, so I prioritized getting some answers with my doc. I already knew I had CPTSD, so I knew where the nightmares were coming from, but not why it was coming out like this. I don't snore, so I thought it was a mental health issue and was worried I had a permanent syndrome caused by my trauma or a psych med I was taking, etc. Nope. Sleep apnea. I was having 7 episodes of interrupted breathing an hour, and it happened mostly during my REM cycle. I'd stop breathing, wake up mid-dream freaking out, and go right back, 7 times an hour. Now I use a CPAP, and it took some getting used to, but holy, everything has improved all over. I probably still have nightmares, but I don't remember them or act them out anymore because I'm not getting woken up mid-REM cycle constantly. I wake up so much easier. I have so much more focus and energy. I've been able to cut way back on caffeine, which improved my mental health. I lost 40 pounds without really trying. My work performance has improved. Holy, I can't even tell you how much different my life would probably be if I'd gotten tested for that 10, 15, 20 years ago. I'm 37 and am 100 positive, having sleep apnea, stunning me for decades. But I'm so glad I got it sorted out now, even if I wish it happened earlier. Story 28, leaving home for college. It made me realize how depressed and suicidal I was. I'm just glad we weren't a gun family, because God knows what I'd do to myself unsupervised. I love my family, but I left, lost 60 pounds, and came back loving myself for the first time. Really, my mom, on the other hand, told me that I was too skinny and that I should gain weight. No, you look great, or congrats. It's just something new to complain about. I also forgot how much I hated taking care of my younger brothers since they came to me for everything my mom should be dealing with. I dread the day I graduate and come back too broke to afford to move out, but at least for the first time ever, I have actual plans for my future, and it involves leaving as soon as possible. Story 29, deleting social media. I do pop back on if I have to see an event for school or something like that, but it's quickly deleted again. Quitting caffeine, my anxiety couldn't take it any longer, and talking one soda can worth of caffeine gave me chest pain. Working out regularly, carving out time daily to read a good book, it's become my me time. Story 30, got on Ozempic. I was on Victoza for years, and my doc kept trying to get me to switch to Ozempic. Finally did it like 6 months ago, and my numbers are outstanding. Story 31, eating one meal a day. First, you go down to 2 meals, then to 1. You eat a very big meal of high-quality food. It saves so much time, money, and cleanup, and the health benefits, mental, physical, and spiritual, are enormous. I wish I had found out about it much earlier. Story 32, unpopular take, having child. I stopped drinking. I began having a daily routine. I spent a lot of time outside. I spend significantly less time watching TV. It motivated me to work harder at my job. I got a big salary jump. Don't wish I did it sooner. I think my timing was right. Story 33, getting cancer. Don't get me wrong, no one wants cancer, but I was unlucky. But it took that to really open up my eyes about what truly matters in life. And I am here to tell you that most of us have it all wrong. Enjoy the little things you don't even realize are there. We only have one shot. Story 34, daily stretch routine. I used to not be flexible at all, even when I was in gymnastics as a kid. My flexibility has greatly improved in just 2 years from doing daily stretches. Story 35, litter picking. Started during lockdown, and now do a bit on my dog walk every day. We live in a reasonably stupid world. Doing a bit that makes sense to you is empowering and actually does a tiny bit of good. I'm better for it. Story 36, eat healthier and get all my nutrients, which lead to good night's sleeps, energy during the day, and good mood consistently. The next improvement is to start working out. Story 37, I don't have major allergies, mainly just pollen, but I started taking Zyrtec daily even outside of allergy season, and I take it at night versus in the morning. It definitely helps me survive spring and fall, but even during summer and winter, I still benefit from less post-nasal drip and irritation from dust and dander. It seems to also help with my mood, which I think could be a placebo effect, but apparently some study says it might help with mood disorders. Story 38, general health. Walk 10K steps day, full body resistance training 3 weeks, eat clean and count calories. So I know it's not too much, weight is dropping, and I've been getting double takes by women, close to 6-pack, and my clothes just look better on me. Every one of my health issues, including ones that I would never have guessed would have been a side effect of lacking on the above, are gone. I tried doing all this before, but it was a half-hearted attempt. It takes knowledge and purposeful work to do it right, but once you understand, it's not actually that complicated. The difficulty is in the consistency. That's easily dialed in when you keep it up for about a month. The other thing to keep in mind is that it's a slow process. You're not going to lose the weight fast, which shouldn't be more than 1 of your body weight per week, and muscle definition will take months to show. Most people give up because their impatience led them to believe that it wasn't working when it was. And if your significant other is anything but supportive in trying to get healthier, you have a choice to make. I made the wrong one in the past. Now I'm making the right one. Story 39, I fully expect to get downvoted for this. But here we go, becoming vegan. I'm much healthier and content with myself now. Before, I always felt uneasy because I told myself I loved animals and at the same time was responsible for their suffering. This inner conflict basically was always there, and finally making the step of getting rid of all the animal cruelty in my life as far as possible really made a huge difference. Highly recommend to anyone thinking about it. Story 40, divorce. Seriously, I thought I had depression and an anxiety disorder. I thought it was COVID. The fact is, having someone who cares and supports you can make something like COVID tolerable. Having someone who treats you with disdain and annoyance. Someone who has used you. Someone who expects you to show up for them physically and financially, but doesn't offer you the same. Someone who is focused only on their own success while you try and appease every corner of their life. These are not good people. Surround yourself with people who bring you joy. Life is short. There is no shame in saying I chose the wrong place to spend my time. Story 41, I deleted my Facebook, Instagram, and Shitter accounts. I kept my Snapchat and Reddit accounts. But Snapchat is the only method I contact my older sister, and I don't consider Reddit social media, as I see it as more forum postings. I deleted Shitter when Muskie Boy bought it, and deleted the others after I realized how they're just pure ads now, and I hadn't seen anything from anyone I knew in a long time. Plus, I just want to be able to disconnect when I want. With Facebook especially, there was always something, and I got sick of it. Now my phone is quieter, and I don't have as many people wishing me happy birthday. But honestly, the people who mattered enough to get my contact info to text me are the only ones who really matter to begin with, and everyone else only added me to boost their friend count. Story 42, living alone, getting a cat. I have to live alone. My social needs have been severely damaged from 19 years of constant trauma, then 5 years of some trauma here. And they are not violent or hard to live with. I just cannot cope living in the same space as other people. It makes my depression worse, causes constant stress, makes me feel like I have zero privacy, and triggers my paranoid episodes, especially regarding the fear of people hiding cameras I didn't consent to. Sadly, that actually happened once, so reality can't assure me now. I end up shutting down completely and going on autopilot until I'm home alone again. By living alone, I always have a space to go back to and just relax, let my emotions be processed and calm down when needed. I could just be me and live my life here. When I do go out with others, we usually go out to lunch or run errands together. People rarely come into my apartment. It's a boundary I've set, and people who respect me and my boundaries understand that. I need this space to function and be able to actually live life. The worst part of roommates for me is it brings back suicidal ideation and self-harm. The stress puts me back into that mode. I failed at once, and sadly that lead to me learning how to not fail a second time. So living alone is my lifeline. I also don't have many social needs. I actually do better in isolation. Even when the loneliness is killing me, it's better than what social interactions often do to me. Years of abuse, and everyone, including cops, ignoring and gaslighting you will do this to you. The human mind breaks under enough pressure, and you can't just fix it. What's done is done. This is my life now. Story 43, quitting smoking definitely improved my quality of life in ways I didn't expect. I feel better physically, breathing is easier, I don't get winded as quickly, and I just have more energy throughout the day. Mentally, it's been a huge relief too. The constant anxiety over when I'll get my next cigarette or if I'll ever actually quit is gone. Plus, my sense of taste and smell came back, and I had no idea how much I missed that until it returned. I really wish I'd done it sooner. The mental and physical weight it lifted off my shoulders is incredible. If you're thinking about quitting, it's definitely worth it, even though it feels tough at first. Story 44, 2 little sentences. If it's not affecting me, my family, my finances, or my health, it is not worth caring about. If it's in the background, paint over it.